Hey, this is your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you another episode of the Never Ever Met Season 2, Episode 9. All right. I wish we had never ever met. I guess the last episode is going to be this Friday. Okay. Anyway, if you are new here, welcome, 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 welcome. Hey. We do reviews here, okay? And if you are returning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right? I am having fun with all of these backgrounds and stuff like that, so just bear with me, okay? Okay. Give me a thumbs up, like and share and subscribe and comment to my channel, and we will begin. All right, so this episode begins where it left off last week, where Britt and Ty was getting into it in the kitchen, and Ty walks off out of the kitchen because Britt said, "If you don't like I'm talking to you, then get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here," you know. And then she tried to explain herself when she in the kitchen, because Ty done walked out the kitchen. She tried to explain herself, talking about, I was just trying not to hurt his feelings and stuff. And so, but in it, so in the shot, it's like Jay is standing behind Cinco with her arms around her. And what's her name? Alexis is standing behind Chris with her arms around Chris, and then Poe Brandon is in the back washing dishes. KeKe is nowhere to be found. Okay. Nowhere to be found. And Brandon is over there washing dishes. So lonely Brandon. Lonely Brandon. So Jay was like, do you think he felt disrespected by the way you walk around this house? And so she was like, Britt was like, how do I disrespect him? And he was like, Jay was like, he brings you breakfast in bed, making you drinks, and he gets nothing in return. And so she was like, just because I'm not allowed about it and things like that, don't mean that it's not happening. I'm moving silence. Jay got a little smirk on her face like, you lying. You lying. So she said, because she know it ain't happening. And so then Britt was like, y'all so immature and dramatic. Girl, who is immature? Okay. Anyway, so Alexis was like, listen, he don't want no food. He don't want no drinks. He just want hugs and kisses and some attention. And so Jay was like, yeah, he wanted the attention that you giving every other man in the house. Okay. Other man in the house. Okay. He want that attention that you giving the other men in the house. And so, and then Alexis was like, yeah, everybody but Ty. Okay. Everybody but Ty. And Jay was like, yeah, because he sees it too. Hey, So they play that beautiful bean footage, okay? So Chris, she hugging on Chris, all up in his face. Then she tickling she tickling what's that boy name? She tickling Cinco, everything like that, just playing with him. And she is eyeballing, basically over there drooling at Brandon exercising in the morning, okay? and she mentioned it. Now, mind you, Ty was standing right there, but she mentioned it. She was like, ain't nothing better than men working out in the morning. She was like, especially B.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
This is fuck. This is not right. This is not cool. This is fucking bullshit.
This not right. This is not cool. Okay, your man standing there, and you is eyeballing this other dude that's exercising. Mind you, Ty should have been out there too exercising. However, okay, if he wasn't, you ain't supposed to be eyeballing this other man. So yeah, they played that beautiful bean footage about how she flirting with all the other dudes in the house. And so Britt was like, y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. No, they not. No, they not. And Cinco was like, yeah, you do be tickling me too much. And so Alexis was like, yeah, I was there and Ty was there. She was like, because I was standing over here in the kitchen and Ty was standing over here and you over here tickling Cinco. And so and Jay was like, you gonna look like a promiscuous hoe when all this airs. And so Britt was like, you don't even know the word. You don't need even know the definition of the word promiscuous and stuff like that. And so I was just like, well, I won't say she would be promiscuous, but she is very flirtatious. That's the word you should have used, is flirtatious. Okay, because she's very flirtatious from all the men except for Ty, basically. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she flirted with Irvin. I'm gonna stop. So Britt in a confessional, she's in a confessional saying, Jay pointing her finger at me, where she was bent over in the shower in the first night. Yes, and if you had met Brandon or Cinco, you would have been bent over in the shower too the first night. Okay. 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 You would have been bent over in the shower too. Had you met anybody else but Ty, because you wasn't physically attracted to Ty. But if you would have met Brandon, you would have been bent over in the shower too. Okay. Don't act. Don't act. Don't even act. Okay. You would have been like this here. That's what you would have been like, okay? Can I put my balls in your jaws? Balls in your jaws. Can I? That's what you would have been like. Don't even act. Don't even act, okay? But anyway, so Ty walked back in the kitchen. And in his radio silence, because everybody talking about Ty and Brittany, and so Brittany was like, I refuse to have any all these ignorant conversations. And Jay was like, well, you can leave. Jay is no nonsense. She is Chi-Town all day. You can leave, sister. And so then Britt walks out, and then Ty was like, every time the kitchen gets hot, Britt walk out. Yep, that is true. So Alexis was like, well, y'all should talk in the morning. And Ty was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not having none a conversation with her. Okay? We ain't got nothing to talk about. She can't take no accountability, so no. I was like, ooh, okay then, okay. Say it with your chest. Ty, say it with your chest. I know that's right. Say it. So, Ty in the confessional saying, Britt is used to getting her way, and I'm not doing it anymore. And I don't blame her. Because she really didn't give you anything. She wanted all the attention, but she was not giving you any attention at all. Okay, but she was giving everybody else's man attention. And so then Britt saying in the confessionals that, well, I can't have conversations with stupid people. Um, Baby, I don't think you any more intelligent than the other people in the house. Okay, I don't think you any more intelligent. Okay, not relationship wise. I don't think you any more intelligent than anybody else in that space. Now, you may book smart or whatever, you may be intelligent like that, but relationship wise, you is just as dumb as everybody else in that space. So anyway, so then she was like, "Ty better have something amazing to say to keep me to stay." He ain't got nothing else to say to you. He ain't got nothing else to say to you. He has nothing else to say to you, baby. Nothing else. So, y'all going home. So the next day, me and go fishing. Jared called a catfish and then he got scared and let it go. Whatever, y'all. Jay and Cinco discussing moving to Chicago. She want him to move to Chicago. He want her to move to Atlanta. She is like, I can't uproot my son. He was like, he only 4. He ain't even in school yet. But all of her village, her support system is in Chicago. She ain't gonna have nobody down there in Atlanta. So I can see both sides of it. Okay. They gonna have to figure that out for themselves. Because I can understand. He is only 4. He ain't even got in the kindergarten yet. So he can move, But if all her support system is in Chicago, you gonna have to be her support system, and you may not be able to do all of that. Okay, so I get it, but they're gonna have to figure that out. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not my business, honey. That's not my business, So Britt wanted to talk to Ty, and Britt was like, I don't feel like it's working, and he was like, same. Same. And so then she gonna say, I thought you should have had my back and taken up for me when they was in the kitchen talking about how I flirt with everybody, man. And this is what he wanted to say.
Shut up, bitch.
But he said, but he was a witness to all of this flirting. So, how you gonna take up for you? Why would he take up for you when you flirting with everybody? Okay, why would he take up for you? And so, I don't know why he would stick up for you when he was a witness to all of this flirting. But and so Ty was like, it's something I'm not doing, He said, it's something. But what I want to know is, Ty he can't get right. He basically can't get right. So it's everything is Ty is not doing something. But what is it, Britt, that you not doing? Okay, that's the question. What is it that you not doing? Okay. Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay, because unless they cut in all of these pieces out, you ain't gave him nothing to work with. Nothing. Okay, nothing to work with. And then he said, you put your finger in my face like, like I'm your child and stuff. And he said, and you were tickling another man. He said, well, how do you think that make me feel? And she was like, I don't consider that tickling. Well, what do you consider it was? And so Ty was like, I don't touch any other woman in this house. And so then Britt deflects and says, there's a lot of jealousy in this house. Who is jealous of you, baby? Who jealous of you? Anyway, there's a lot of jealousy in this house. She says, since I'm not connecting with you, then who am I connecting with? Girl, you tried it. You tried it, okay? You tried it, okay? You deflected all day long and twice on Sunday, girl. Nobody jealous of you. Nobody is just jealous of you, baby. Okay? Why would they be jealous of you? Why? You ain't got no better body than anybody else, or face, or anything else in there. Even KeKe, you ain't got no better face or body than anybody else in that place. Even KeKe. Okay? So, now, ain't nobody jealous of you, boo. Ain't nobody jealous. But Ty was like, you cannot take accountability for touch. And he said, can you take accountability for touching other men in the house? No, because I touch everybody. Ooh, you tried it again. You touch everybody but Ty. You touch everybody but Ty, okay? And he was like, it's one excuse after another. You cannot take any accountability. He got a little spaces in there. Accountability. He said, do you even know what that word means? I know that's right, Ty. And so Ty was like, I think we should leave. And so she was like, well, I think that's best. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had a flashback on Beverly Hills Cop. For people a certain age. I think that's best. Who was that? What was his name? Oh, what was his name? He was the guy. Oh God. That was in. Oh God. Oh God. No. This is what it was. This is what it was. When Eddie Murphy came. And he said that Victor Meatland, he said, can I speak to Victor Meatland? He was like, well, can I give him a message? He was like, tell him that he need to go to the doctor because he got herpes simplex 10. He was like, oh, I think you should get that message. He was like, oh, yeah, I think that's best. Okay, so sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Ooh, okay. Let me get back. Ooh, Jesus, hello. Anyway, so Ty walked back in the house saying, I'm out. Everybody dap him up. Britt walks back in, say goodbye to all the men, and ignores all the ladies in the house, okay? Say goodbye to all the men, though. Say goodbye to all the men, okay? But ignores all the women in the house. Charlie goes up and, help Britt pack. And Charlie already said in her confessional, she was like, listen, you weren't attracted to that man. So, I'm going you should leave because you weren't attracted to him anyway. But then she say, but, Britt, you're my best friend in the house and everything like that. Probably because she didn't flirt with Jared. Probably she didn't flirt with Jared. That's probably the reason why she did and you ain't catch it. I don't know. But you my best friend in the house. And so then they walk out and KeKe say goodbye and she ignored poor little KeKe. And KeKe ain't had nothing to do with nothing. She wasn't even in the kitchen when Jay and Alexis was going off on you. And I can understand if you mad at Jay and Alexis, but I don't understand why you mad at KeKe. You need to get the fuck out of here with that shit. You shouldn't be mad at KeKe, or you may be jealous of KeKe because you want her man. Okay. You may be hating on KeKe. That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. That you hating on KeKe because she came with the finest man in the house. Okay. She came with the finest man in the house, and And he only had eyes for KeKe. Unlike you. Okay. So Britt was like, dealing with females in the house. Girl, bye. That female comment is not cute at all. Ain't they women? Ain't they women? They ain't females, okay? They women. So Ty said, when he was leaving, he said, you know, I'm gonna try hard not to please other people and to please myself. I said, I know that's right, Ty. You'll find somebody like your little corny jokes and shit. You know, ain't nothing wrong with it. So KeKe's best friend is coming, and Brandon's brother is coming, and so they in the kitchen toasting the good vibes. They talking about this, the last 8 and all the other stuff. And so Charlie was out on the little balcony or whatever. She wanted to talk to Jerry, and so she was just like, you know, would you be upset if I told you about our relationship and things like that? And, because he said, I don't listen to other people about our relationship. She was like, well, what if the comment coming from me? He was like, well, I would listen to you. And then she chickened out. And so she ain't saying nothing, but she thinking it. Okay. She thinking it. But anyway, so Taronda come by and she was asking about Ty and Britt. And so KeKe was like, well, I hate to see people go. And Jay was like, it was time for her to go. It wasn't time for Ty to go, but it was time for her to go. It was time for her to go. Okay. Cinco and Jay go on their second date to make some perfume and cologne and stuff. And so Jay had her little thong. Ow! Yes, honey, go ahead now. She looked real nice, but I see that thong right all day long, twice on Sunday. So Thizzle, that is her name, and she is the mixologist for the scents. Okay, so she asked, what scents do they like? So Jay like, I like, like fresh cookies. She was like chocolate and things like that. And so I was just like, I don't think I need no perfume to smell like fresh cookies or chocolate, but I'll leave that alone. So then she asked Cinco. Cinco was like, well, pretty much what she said. And he said about French. He said French vanilla. He said, but no cinnamon. No cinnamon. Then he said, and I don't like citrus either. He said, but I like tacos and I like clean linen.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
What? Tacos, clean linen, no cinnamon, French vanilla, chocolate, cookie dough. Girl. But she mixed up something. I don't know what it smelled like, honey, but they had to put them on and they had to smell each other. And, they liked it. If they like it, I love it, honey. But I was like, what is this? Anyway, so Maya is KeKe's best friend, okay? And she come over and they talk, and she said Maya thinks that Brandon is hiding something. Brandon's brother comes over, Christian, and Alexis answered the door and her beauty supply turban on. And so he walked in talking about, where my brother at? She was like, Alexis was like, dang. She was like, can I, show you around the house or something? So KeKe telling Maya that Brandon is talking about, that he mad about her drinking. Brandon telling Christian about KeKe is a heavy drinker. I don't want that in my relationship. He said mom's ex-husband was a heavy drinker, and I had to take care of the family at 15. Maya told, then Maya asked, have you told him about you and your ex-boyfriend living together while y'all was talking, while y'all was in a relationship, while you and Brandon was in a relationship, you were still living with your ex? And KeKe was like, nope. I was waiting for you to come because, I kind of chickened out. So I was waiting for you to come so you could back me up. So they introduced each other. They introduced KeKe and introduced Maya to Brandon and Christian. And introduced Christian to KeKe, all the other stuff. So Christian asked what KeKe and Brandon had learned about each other since, meeting in person. KeKe, Brandon was like, because KeKe was like, well, you go ahead. So Brandon was like, oh, I'll tell him. He said, it's your way or the highway. You caring, but he said, but your alcohol, no, you got an alcohol problem. I said, God damn.
Oh my God!
Right. He said, because you drink every single day. And so KeKe was like, well, everybody drinks every single day here. She said, because it's kind of like a vacation. She said, if you was on a cruise, you would drink every single day. And I said, yeah, that's true. That's true. But this is not a vacation. But if I was on a cruise, I would drink every single day. And I have drunk every single day. And so Maya was like, well, listen, she don't really drink that often. She said she's like a social drinker. She said, but she don't drink every day when she, at home and stuff. And so, but she was like, but it's really a hypocrisy because, and this is Maya talking. She's like, because Brandon, you drink. And so Brandon's like, yeah, but I drink to my limit. And so then Christian said, well, Brandon has trust issues with you, because you stood him up 4 times when he tried to meet you, because, he live in Birmingham and you live in Atlanta. It ain't but 4 hours away. And, he tried to come visit you for 4 times and you had stood him up. And so then KeKe just said that, I was still involved with my ex, but we broke up about a year ago and da-da-da-da-da. But then KeKe tried to, deflect, talking about, you can't tell me that you didn't see anybody in the 4 years we were together. He was like, yeah, I can, because I ain't seen nobody. Okay. And she was like, I don't believe that. And he was like, I'm a busy person. And so, Maya asked Brandon, well, how you feel about that secret? And he was like, it's a deal breaker. And so then they leave, and Brandon go in the kitchen and talk to Alexis. Why he talking to Alexis about this? But he talking to Alexis, talking about, then Alexis was like, well, you ain't never slept with nobody in the 4 years that y'all were dating? And he was like, yeah. He was like, no, I ain't never slept with nobody. I mean, he may not been. We don't know. That's what he said. But I mean, it is possible. I mean, y'all act like it is not possible for him not to have sex with nobody else. It's not possible, and it is possible. Okay, but but he had to have his mind right. and he was raising a family at 15, so he may be more mature than a lot of the guys that's there. So it could be it. We don't know. So but KeKe in the kitchen, they gassing KeKe up, talking about that ain't no bomb. I ain't, yeah, he probably had sex with somebody in the last 4 years, and I know he wasn't celibate, dollar. Listen, y'all. It could have been possible, okay? It could have been possible, okay? But golly, man, they all gassing her up, talking about that ain't no big deal. That ain't no big deal. It's a big deal to him, and it's a deal breaker. So, hey. Anyway, so it's only 2 days left. Okay, so Cinco is giving KeKe the point of view. Oh no, Brandon comes into the kitchen where everybody gassing KeKe up, and so she said, "Are you good?" or something like that. He ignores him. She ignores him. Then he said, "I'm good," but he ignored that first time. Yeah, he gave her that little cold shoulder, honey. That little cold shoulder. So Cinco, the next day, Cinco's giving KeKe some the man's point of view on that situation and about Brandon being upset. And so Brandon asked KeKe why she waited so long to tell him that. She said because when like the second or the third challenge that they had, one of the questions were, is it okay to keep secrets in the relationship? And KeKe said no, and he said no, but she was keeping a secret. So he was like, so why did you even say no? And so then she was like, well, it's not a secret. It's more of withholding. Girl. Girl.
You stupid.
Stop deflecting. Stop. Okay? Stop. Okay? It was a secret, and that's the reason why you kept it so long. But can you apologize, though? Can you just apologize? Can you just apologize? Say, Brandon, I'm sorry. I am so sorry for, not breaking it off when we got together. Not breaking it off with my ex when we got together. I'm sorry about that. Can you accept my apology? Can you do that? So then, but no, she's not, because then she gonna say you got 83 deal breakers. So now she's projecting. Okay, you got 83 deal breakers, and then she was like, and 3 strikes, you out. We what she said? We adults. Yeah, and if you got 3 strikes, you go to jail for a long time. Okay, in baseball, 3 strikes, you out. Yeah, we all adults here. Okay, so it's about 1 or 2 strikes, and then you out for me. Okay, you may not get to the 2. Okay, because I'm old. I ain't got time. Listen, if it don't feel right, we out. We okay. But yeah, we all adults, and so but Brandon was like, it's not, it's not 3 strikes you're out. It's what I don't want to deal with in my life, and I agree with that. And so she was just like, well, you saying that what you don't want to deal with in your life, what do I don't want to deal with in my life? How you talk to me, you insensitive to my feelings, and I just want you to be nice to me. and KeKe was like, I am the only one to taking accountability. You have not taken accountability, though. That's the problem. You have not taken accountability. If you took accountability, and apologized, and take accountability that way. But you ain't taking even accountability for that. And so Brandon was like, yeah, all I wanted was apology, for what you said last night. And so then Brandon was like, well, do you want to end this? And so KeKe was like, what, end this conversation? And he was like, no, end it. And he said, over breakfast, the breakfast that you prevented me from eating. He was like, well, that's on you. And he took his plate and left. Okay. So that's where it ended. Okay. So I think this week is the season finale. So anyway, give me a thumbs up. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.